As children, we barely gave a thought to how others saw us. Making friends and meeting new people was a breeze, free from the worries of perception. But as adults, it's a different story. First impressions suddenly carry weight, shaping how we navigate social landscapes, and the pressure to get it right can be daunting. So, what's really going on beneath the surface when we meet someone new? What makes these initial encounters so influential? First impressions occupy a prominent place in self-help advice, especially around improving social skills. Yet, much of what we're told about them misses the mark, glossing over the deeper truths of human behavior and social dynamics. Let's pull back the curtain and explore the reality of first impressions, both the empowering and the challenging aspects. The truth is, we're hardwired to form snap judgments about people, often within just a few moments. You've probably heard the saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover." But let's face it, we all do. We quickly draw conclusions from superficial cues, how someone looks, their voice, their posture, even the firmness of a handshake. And it doesn't stop there. Our memories favor the first and last moments of an interaction, storing them more vividly than everything in between. This tendency is backed by research. When participants in studies were asked to recall words from a list, the first and last items were the easiest to remember. The same principle applies to our social exchanges, meaning those opening and closing moments can shape our impressions significantly. But the story doesn't end with initial perceptions. Once we form an opinion about someone, it becomes a filter through which we view all future interactions with that person. If our first impression suggests they are knowledgeable, we might overlook when they say something questionable, still viewing them through the lens of expertise. This filtering effect reinforces the initial judgment, making it even harder to change. For better or worse, first impressions do matter, and paying attention to how we present ourselves in those crucial first moments can be a game changer. Now, does this mean you should obsess over every detail before meeting someone new? Not at all. While it's wise to be mindful of things like body language, tone of voice, and attire, each contributing to how you're perceived, it's equally important not to let the pursuit of a perfect first impression stress you out. The reality is, beneath all the outward signals, people are ultimately assessing two key qualities: your trustworthiness and warmth. Those factors weigh more heavily than fancy clothes or a meticulously planned handshake. And here's a refreshing perspective that isn't often discussed. Even though first impressions hold power, they aren't set in stone. They can change, and you can recover from a shaky start. Think of it like a race. If you stumble at the beginning, it might cost you more than a mistake made later on. But with the right approach, you can still cross the finish line ahead. Imagine a scenario where the first 5 minutes of an interaction don't go well. If those minutes count 4 times more than the rest of the conversation, it's like you had 20 bad minutes right off the bat. Yet, with 60 more minutes of meaningful interaction, you could still turn things around completely. The ability to shift someone's impression of you is particularly important to keep in mind, except in situations where the stakes are high and a second chance isn't guaranteed. Job interviews and first dates often fall into this category. If you don't make a favorable impression in a job interview, you may not be invited back for a second. Similarly, if a first date doesn't go well, the opportunity for a follow-up might not come. Even then, though, the interaction isn't entirely doomed. If the date lasts a couple of hours, a rough first 20 minutes leaves you with plenty of time to redeem yourself. Understanding the complexities of first impressions empowers you to approach new encounters with the right mindset. Embrace the moments where you can shine, and if things don't go as planned, remember that the impression you leave is never entirely out of your hands. Every social interaction, whether smooth or awkward, is a chance to learn, grow, and make a lasting impact. You've got this.